What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at two kind of interesting Pokemon. The first being Shadow Alolan Sandslash with Powder Snow. And the reason it's interesting is just it's kind of a core breaker. There's a lot of teams double weak to ice at the moment. I think a lot of people are just not really respecting it just because it's not very common. And the second Pokemon is anti-meta because people that have figured out that ice is strong are using either Dewgong or Sandslash, both of which have the same coverage in Drill Run, and then either Ice Punch or Icy Wind. So ice and ground coverage. What resists both of that? Golisopod. So that's why we're looking at Golisopod today, and we're actually going to look first at the matchup it has against Shadow Alolan Sandslash. And it's absolutely dominant, right? Look at that. Obviously, in the 2-0, Sandslash can win, but other than that, it loses every other single matchup. So, yeah, Gliscod, a pretty sneaky answer. Obviously, it is going to have trouble with things like Dunsparce because the Shadow Cloud's resisted and Rollout and Rock Slide are both super effective. So that's why you might not see as many Gliscopods this season. That being said, I think it worked as a great safe swap. And then I had Mandibuzz in the back to resist either ground or the fighting on the lead with our Sandslash. So let's get right into the battles. Okay, good lead. We've got a Clefable. They are staying in this matchup, so that tells me they don't even build up to a Moonblast. So this might actually be a Meteor Mash, and it is. But this does tell me that they're weak to this in the back, most likely. I do decide to just go Ice Punch just because I didn't think one Drill Run plus the Powder Stones would take out, and I didn't want to use a shield. Then they come in with Malamar, which is still not a great answer. So it does allow me to get to a Ice Punch. I did kind of want to save this just in case, because they were weak in the back, but then I saw them come with the Malamar, so I was like, alright, I'll just align my Manibuzz with this and take the resisted Psywaves. So they have to go Superpower here to do any meaningful damage, but that means they're going to lower their attack and their defense. So I'm more than fine with letting these go, especially a second one is going to do even less than the first. And look at that, we're only at 50% and my opponent resigns the match. Okay, into the next match. Feraligatr on the lead. So that's a bad matchup, obviously. We're going to come in with Golisopod. Obviously, we will outpace unless they just go for the resist to Hydro. So we do get off the Aerial Ace, but then they come in with Drapion. We can survive one crunch from this range, but we know we're not going to be able to flip switch, so there's no point in shielding this. They are going to get the Poison Sting farm down, but we will get off one Liquidation, and we get the Defense Fall, so that is huge. And now, because that means we can just come in with Sandslash, we can take a crunch. This will hurt Shadow on Shadow. They actually just bait with the Aqua Tail, but now that means I'm going to get off this Ice Punch, take them out, and then we can align our Mandibuzz onto the Feraligatr. That was quick, so I don't think it's... Oh, it is the Ice Beam. Okay, so that does about 50% of our health, but then they have a Whimsicott in the back, and unfortunately Whimsicott doesn't really have anywhere to go against my team. Manibuzz probably the best option, but even so, I don't know if they even farmed up to a Moonblast. No, they didn't, but I guess I was just being safe. I wasn't paying attention to their counts. This can most certainly only be a Seed Bomb. So I'm going to no-shield that. Manibuzz is very bulky. It's not worried about a couple Seed Bombs. If they don't let this go, which they do, and actually was going for the Snipe, I do have a shield. I have to use it somewhere. So I'm going to use it here. I'm just going to probably go for the Ice Punch because they are low enough at this point. That resisted Powder Snows plus the Ice Punch will probably get the KO, which will force them to throw their energy, which is good because I believe I have an Aerial Ace loaded, and that Whimsicott is in one Snarl farm down range. So we will get off this Aerial Ace, take out the Feraligatr, and then snarl down a Fairy type in the back. Superior. Once again, Grass don't really have anywhere to go on this team. They come in with Dewgong. Okay, So this you would think would be an absolutely dominant matchup because Shadow Claws and Aerial Aces are neutral. And every single thing, their Fast Move and Ice Shard, Icy Wind, and Drill Run, they're all resisted, right? Wrong. If they shield the first Aerial Ace, they win this matchup, which is absolutely absurd. And that is just the power of Dewgong. That being said, I am still going to get this Dewgong pretty low, and I will take the shield advantage, which hopefully will help us in the back because we don't really need switch, right? We've got Mandibuzz in the back, which can do just fine against Superior. So we're just going to get this as low as we can, and then we're going to come in Mandibuzz because we're going to expect that they're going to blind throw the Drill Run onto the Sandslash. They did look like they waited, so let's see, did they get the correct move off? They did, okay. So they get the Icy Wind off, unfortunate. So now we're going to shield the second one. We're fine with burning the shield, but now our attack is 2 times lowered. We will get the full Snarl. No, we won't. So we're actually going to snipe with the Powder Snow. What do they have in the back? It's a Dunsparce. So it's actually good that we have a little bit of an energy lead here. Because obviously Dunsparce is tricky for this team. It's got that super effective coverage of Drill Run onto the Sandslash and super effective Rock Slide on both Golisopod and Mandibuzz. But we do get it pretty low to the point where I think they're probably in farm down range. Drill Run doesn't even take out, but they do come in with Superior and they get a perfect Vine Whip farm down. So it's a very nice play for my opponent. I can survive one move very comfortably here, and I do believe that they have a Rock Slide loaded. So I actually have to no shield every single Aerial Ace that the Superior throws at me. But fortunately, we have a bunch of loaded energy from that previous matchup, and they have not thrown a move yet because we just have so much energy. And look, that puts them into Snarl farm down range. I still can't shield this. They have a Rock Slide. I'm more worried about that. That Aerial Ace does nothing, and we do outpace because they can't throw because we have the shield, and then we get the Snarl farm down of the Superior to take that win. So very close matchup there, but we do squeeze it out in the end. Toxapex, this is a good lead. Both of our fast moves are resisted, but theirs is worse. They come in with Diggersby, which is not a great response to Sandslash. That being said, if they're running Fire Punch, which it looks like they are, then we can catch that on the Mandibuzz. Of course, I could have come in Golisopod. I just didn't. The Shadow Claws being resisted kind of deterred me, but Scorching Sands is resisted and Fire Punch is only neutral. But I figured resisted, just non-stab Fire Punches from Diggersby would just do nothing to Mandibuzz, so that matchup's just as good. It also, Mandibuzz at like nearly full HP will still have a decent match against Toxapex, and we'll be able to get them pretty low before they take us out. So just going to spam these Dark Pulses, force them to throw their energy. It was kind of tempting to shield there because we knew they had to go for the Sludge Wave, and they do get a perfect farm down. But that being said, they have the Talonflame in the back. So this is actually pretty dangerous for us because Talonflame with Incinerate, it being neutral, and then boosting is they can just get rid of our Golisopod here, so that is a little bit scary. We do bait and grab a shield. We're baiting again because we know that they're going to go for the full farm down. And that does allow us to get a move off, which is huge. Because now that puts it into farm down range. We can shield once, go for the full farm down, assuming they're not at another move. Oh, but they are at another move. They went Fly, so that way they could at least get some chip with another Fly, and a really smart play by my opponent. But unfortunately, I will still outpace to the Drill Run, and a Shadow Drill Run from this range will take out the Toxapex for the win. So my opponent did play to their win con there, just getting off any chip they could, but unfortunately they don't get that KO. Okay, Wiggly in the next match, and they are staying in. So I'm going to go for the lower energy move here because I'm expecting them to shield, but they don't. They still have a very poor matchup here, so I'm just going to let this go. I wasn't familiar with the Wiggly matchup. I don't know if you can just go Drill Run and fully Powder Snow down because I'm used to using Shadow Claw, but Powder Snow is definitely better in this meta. That being said, they come in with a Dunsparce, throw on poor timing there because the rollout animation is a turn behind, and that means we're not going to get to another move, but that's fine. We're going to come in a Mana Buzz here just because Rock Slides are going to do a lot less on our Mana Buzz. I think it takes 3 Rock Slides. Yeah, Rock Slide is a really crappy move now. I think it's in like the 1.4 damage per energy range. So we're fine with letting that go. They're almost at another Rock Slide, so we will get off the Dark Pulse right away. It looks like they're going to get to another one. And that's fine. We can either shield and farm down or let this go. So we're going to let this go and go for farm on Golisopod, which is huge because we get the perfect farm down, and what's in the back? It is a Abomasnow. So this is going to come down to a bait game, but fortunately I have both shields, so I will shield the first. I believe they're at 9 Powder Snows right now. They bait with the Weather Ball, but then they just throw again immediately, so this can only be another Weather Ball. So I will let that go, and there goes their potential bait win con. And because I'm at back-to-back Aerial Aces, this should be more than enough to take out. Obviously, their Powder Snow is resisted, so we get that Shadow Claw farm down first. Okay, Malamar in the lead. This is an okay lead. Obviously, their Psywaves are resisted. They build up to the Foul Play, but I don't want to chance a Superpower. And that's what they do. They just go straight Foul Play, unfortunately. And then they go for a catch on Azumarill. Now, Azumarill is a little tricky for this team. Obviously, Mana Buzz doesn't have a great matchup. Sandslash would have a good matchup if they had energy, but these bubbles are neutral, so I decided to come in with the Golisopod after chipping twice with a Drill Run. We're going to get off that Aerial Ace right away. They will survive this. Any one move here is non-threatening, so I will let this go. And even if they make another move, I wouldn't be surprised if I let it go. But then they come in with Malamar. So they stored a move probably on that Azu. And they come in with the Malamar. We get the defense drop, which is huge. We're going to get to another move, so they're forced to throw. And then I believe we can just align our Mana Buzz on this because there is nothing they can do except for throw those superpowers. So, unless they're running Hyper Beam, but most are not in the Open Great League. And they just go for the superpower. We'll let them go for another superpower. It's very similar to how the last opponent played it out. And then they come in with the Azu. I didn't want to chance them making a move, even though I could have overfarmed probably a little bit more. Go for an undercharge, doesn't really matter. They're at 1 HP. And what is that third Pokemon in the back? They are not going to show me. So they are either really weak to Mana Buzz or they want to get a little bit extra chip. So I'll overfarm a little bit, go for the Aerial Ace, take them out. And it is a Whimsicott in the back. So this game is over. We have the Aerial Aces. And then we have the Sandslash still alive. Even a Moonblast probably won't take me out from this range. It'll hurt, maybe deep red. Yep, but we do survive with 1 HP, which is huge because we cannot use our shield on our Sandslash. And then they know this, so they just let that go because we would get to an Aerial Ace before they could outpace in the Moonblast. Skarmory, a little bit of a relic. I'll be honest, I wasn't positive on the new Stealing pacing, but I was pretty sure it was 10 to the first, 9 to the second. I could be wrong, but it looks like stealing damage, it definitely didn't get nerfed. It was just the energy. So they already have me at 50%, but that does mean I can win the ones, which is good. Because I do shield this guy attack, and then I have another Ice Punch loaded. So will they let this go, or are they going to go 2 shields? Nope, they're going to let that go. And then they come in with Shiftry, which is not a good answer to Sandslash. So they are really weak to both Fire and Sandslash at the moment. And so I'm just going to come in with Mana Buzz because I'm an absolute wall to Shiftry. And yeah, they just resign the match. They Not really sure what my opponent was trying there, but another good lead. We've got Weezing. They could be running Overheat, so I will CMP tie them on it and Shield. And they do, they actually are running Overheat. They full send it. So now we're just going to get the drill run off. We're fine with nearly taking this out, and they do. They just let it go and let me farm them down. They come in with Gastrodon, so we come in with Golisopod. They obviously don't have a great answer in the back, as Bubble is resistant on Azu, but look at these Aerial Aces. They do absolutely nothing to the Azumarill. But yeah, Gastrodon is another Pokemon that's completely walled by Golisopod. They can only throw Body Slams, whether they're running Earth Power or Water Pulse. So it's a pretty interesting typing, I think. In this meta, it is going to be hard to run with Dunsparce being everywhere, and you might need to adjust the team. But then they come back in with the Gastrodon, and at this point it's game, because I can just come in with the Mana Buzz, resist all of these Mud Slaps, and that should be game. My opponent just has not realized it yet. No matter how many Body Slams they throw, they are not going to get through this bulky Mana Buzz. Maybe they're trying to burn the Switch Clock, I'm not sure. But now we're just going to get off this Dark Pulse. That is about 50%. They're still saying in this matchup. So they're going to get another Body Slam, and they finally resign the match. Into the next match, Talonflame. Okay, this is a really bad lead, obviously. So we're going to get one Powder Snow and then switch into Golisopod. And all that means is that they will throw an alignment when we get to the move, and that is fine. They do go for the fly, and then they come in with Dewgong. So once again, my opponent does not have an answer to Golisopod. Just because, I mean, Dewgong is still kind of an answer. Like, it does fine in even shield scenarios, unfortunately, because of that Icy Wind debuff and because of how bulky it is, and Aerial Aces are non-stab. Would this be better with X-Scissor? Yes. That being said, I think the X-Scissor Liquidation move set can very easily be walled. Things like Azumarill, which we've seen a bunch of, walls that move set. So, and we do the same thing though. They actually shield and get the farm down. We expect the drill run. This time we get it. We get the drill run catch, the blind drill run throw onto the Mana Buzz, which is huge. And they have a Grass in the back. And once again, Grass do not have any play against our team. So we're going to get off that Aerial Ace. And then we go for these, we wait the turn, go for the Sludge Bomb catch. We get the sneak of the Powder Snow, double resisted Sludge Bomb. Will this let us get to a Dark Pulse to take them out? They are going to shield, so that's huge. I'm just going to go for the extra Snarl because I know I don't win CMP here. And then I'm going to go for the Snarl, Dark Pulse, and then Snarl to take them out because I don't believe a Dark Pulse will take them out from this range, but one more Snarl will. And then we have the Aerial Ace loaded. My opponent knows that, and they resign the match. So we work out of a tough lead in that one, but we are granted with a good lead in the next match, but then they come in with a tough swap. I attempt a drill run catch on my Golisopod, very risky because they hold their energy, and now they're going to get a super effective Rock Slide off. So at this point, I'm not going to outpace, I'm not going to win switch, so I'm just going to sacrifice my Golisopod. This is not how you should play this matchup, so it's going to be very interesting to see how I work out of this. But we do just sacrifice it, which means they are energy dry on the Dunsparce, which is good. We can get off the drill run, and then because they're on the 4 cycle, we can actually get to another Ice Punch, but my opponent likes to shield that. So I'm willing to shield back. I'm not really worried about that. I don't need alignment here, but then we go for the drill run catch on the Mana Buzz. Did we get it? We did, so that is absolutely massive. And then they come in Dragonite because they know their Dragonite doesn't have any play against our Sandslash. So this is huge because we can just go one shield Sandslash, especially because they let that go. they're going to have to probably superpower to take me out here. And they don't, so they just go for the Dragon Claw. I hold my energy on purpose, forcing them to throw, which allows me to get a little bit extra energy on the Sandslash. We still have one shield. We have not seen what that Pokemon is in the back, and it is a Chestnut. So this is going to be tough because, oh, they actually let that go. So that, okay, Wincon available. They can't make it to back-to-back. They get fully farmed down, and now they're going to get fully farmed down on the Dunsparce. Yeah, my opponent made a huge mistake there in letting that Ice Punch go. If they shielded that and then tried to go for a catch on the Dunsparce when they were like right before they got to back-to-back superpowers, I think that was their best chance of winning. But they let it go, and that gives me a Wincon to fully farm down. But yeah, that's the team. It's kind of similar to like a very old Sandslash like Mantine or Sandslash Azumarill Core. I just didn't want to use that exact same team. And I thought that like its weaknesses in this meta really are obviously the Talonflames that we were seeing. Golisopod does have that liquidation coverage, and Mandibuzz has a neutral matchup there, but it's just got that bulk to sustain. It's obviously weak to fighting and ground on the lead as well, where that bug on Golisopod covers both of those weaknesses. And the flying on Mandibuzz covers both those weaknesses. Obviously, that dark typing does neutralize the fighting, but you got the Aerial Ace coverage, and the only thing you're really worried about in this meta is Machamp and Pangoro. Pangoro can only throw close combats to do meaningful damage to you. Machamp can throw the Stone Edge, but you are going to outpace the Aerial Ace, so it's still got a very good matchup into those, and you do survive one Stone Edge, so yeah, that's the team. I think it's a very strong anti-meta team. It does kind of counter that anti-meta of the ice types with the ice and ground coverage that we've been seeing. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Peace.